morning, Carly and Todd. The Biden administration maintains they're trying to be transparent as President-elect Trump says this.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense.
Federal officials are pushing back, saying for the most part, they do know what is happening. They say they've received 5,000 tips of drone sightings over the last few weeks. And out of those, they say there are about 100 that they need to follow up on. The FBI, FAA, Defense Department, and DHS releasing this statement. We assess that the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. And if drones don't pose a public safety threat, they say there's not much they can do to limit them from flying in the skies.
Our assessment is that this is lawful, legal, commercial, hobbyist, and even law enforcement aircraft activity. Some of it's manned, some of it's unmanned. We absolutely acknowledge that a lot of these are probably drones, but they're flying legally.
Christmas tree. Saw your smile too late to stay. How far it seems together in electric dreams.
We're going to get to a point. Imagine what it's going to look like a year from now, this show. This is like, imagine what the show is growing so quickly. And we're so thankful for you. And we are Christmas maxing for you. And we've put Dale Davis's name on a stocking because Dale Davis was the #1 super chatter yesterday. Shout out to the chat. We love the chat. We love you. We're watching you right now. Together, we're saving the country. Here's Dale Davis's stocking. I'll hang it later in the show. We're covered in glitter. Covered in glitter today. But at some point in the near future, the entire show is just going to be like a cinematic meme experience by Jerry. That's where he's getting. Jerry's memes used to be like 5 seconds, 2 seconds long. Okay? And now the guy's turning into like Christopher Nolan. It's going to be like an interstellar meme experience on the show. The show's going to have to go live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time just to get through the meme. So we're going to have like a memeable story that will tell you about the news and the world around us. And I freaking love it. For my sake, contributing to this society, I'm happy about it. I'm very happy about it. How are you this morning? What's going on, chat? Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. You'll be surprised to know that the federal government is lying to you about every psyop in this country, including January 6th, including the drones in New Jersey, and that President Trump is very angry about those things. And as we prepare ourselves and our bodies for the new, great, golden American century that Donald Trump will henceforth and forthwith bring forward to our nation, it's important to set the record straight on these things. We're going to do that on the show. Today, we're going to be joined by, let's see here, who are we going to be joined by, Killer Klein, to talk about Trump? Oh, yeah, Lara Trump. That's right. Freaking Lara Trump's on the program. She's going to be joining us live very soon to talk about her father-in-law and exactly what's going to happen in this new administration. Is she going to be in the Senate? What's she going to do? She just stepped back from a role at the RNC. It makes all of us wonder if we're going to get an early Christmas present, ladies and gentlemen. Senator Lara Trump. House Republicans have exposed January 6th committee lies, and it looks like Liz Cheney is going to prison. Jeff Van Drew will also join the show. He's a, drone expert from the state of New Jersey. He's a congressman from New Jersey. He's a Republican. He famously switched parties and joined the Republican Party. But he said that these drones are from Iran, from like an Iranian naval vessel out in the middle of the sea. So we're going to ask him about that. It's going to be very interesting. But we're going to start the show, ladies and gentlemen, with a huge win for this country that we brought about yesterday with our interview with Tom Homan. It's going to be great. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Okay, so first thing. It is the Christmas season. It is a time for giving. Thank you, Dale Davis. Let's see, do I have the link? Do I have the link here? Here we go. This is the Dale Davis. The top super chat gets your name on a stocking, and that stocking gets hung by the chimney with care. With great care. I'm not sure if I can say. I'm not sure if you heard that. The stocking gets hung in the studio with care, and that's what we're gonna do. Part of our gift to you. We want to say a very Merry Christmas to you this Christmas season. Consider, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a homeowner refinancing your home with American Financing, consider now using this opportunity to pay off some of the massive debt that was accrued during the Biden regime, which is the greatest debt burden that America's ever accrued, not only on a national debt level, but on a personal home and income level. If you're a homeowner, American Financing can help you unlock the equity in your home and start saving today. Their customers are saving $800 a month on average. So imagine what this could mean for you and your family. If you act now, you can delay 2 mortgage payments. You can get extra cash for the Christmas season. Start off the new year without any debt. Make sure that you give them a call. Call now, 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny, NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Okay, so I want to begin with an early gift under the Christmas tree. We do have a literal, practical, physical Christmas tree here in the studio. Going to try not to interact with the studio too much. I know it makes Killer Klein very, very nervous. Our Christmas tree does include this, the single most popular Christmas ornament in American history. On it, the red Christmas ornament. We've shipped 55,000 of these ornaments, so we are now convinced that this is the single most popular Christmas ornament in American history. You can still find it at the Benny store, ladies and gentlemen. Yet, we yesterday had on a total G. Freaking Tom Homan was on the program. Absolute skull cracker, freaking Braveheart energy. Tom Homan is the toxic masculine man that they warned you about. Okay, so it's like they warned you about toxic masculinity, embodied by Daniel Penny, but really truly crystallized and purified in its purest possible form with Tom Homan. Tom Homan is Donald Trump's border czar. Tom Homan has the physiognomy of a Scottish guy with carrying like a giant club, not even like an axe or a sword. It's just a club, like a Flintstone style club. Okay, like schlomping through the Scottish wilderness, right? Like looking for castles to conquer. It's freaking great on the program. And we've been doing some conquering with Tom Homan. So yesterday, Tom Homan specifically talks about, because we asked him, the mayor of Denver, saying, wait a second, this mayor of Denver says he's going to use the cops and the police forces to fight you to stop criminal alien departures from this country. Eating the dogs, eating the cats, got to go home. So Tom Homan said with a very resounding note yesterday, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to win. You're going to lose. I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be bullied. I'm going to freaking do my job. And get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll go to prison if you stop me from doing my job, because that's an insurrection. You're insurrecting against a federal official. This clip had immediate real-world results. That's the power of you, chat. It's the power of us. That's why I heart the chat every day. This clip had immediate real-world results. First off, let's go to the clip. We'll show you what we mean with Tom Homan saying, if you stop me from deporting people, you will go to prison. It's a felony. Here we go. Is there criminal liability for these mayors and governors It does seem like they would be interfering with federal authorities. It does seem like that's the true insurrection. I mean, am I not wrong that definitionally insurrecting would be using law enforcement to fight the federal government from lawfully enforcing the rules of this country? Wouldn't that be considered an insurrection?
I don't know, but it's a felony. A felony we will prosecute. And look, there's a lot of hate out there right now. I mean, I got death threats against me and my family, and because I'm going to do the job that Congress has required us to do. They enacted the laws for us to enforce. They budget us to do this job. We're going to do it. But people need to understand, I'm not going to be bullied. I'm not going to be manipulated. I'm not going away. I'm not going to be silenced. We're going to do this job. And again, don't cross the line. I would ask the mayor of Chicago, Governor Pritzker, simply read the statute. Read 18 U.S.C. 111. Read 1324 III. Read them. I mean, I'm not an attorney, but I know how to read. I think they know how to read too. Just read the statute and you decide if you're going to cross that line or instruct anybody else to cross that line, because we're going to get this job done. We're the biggest national security threat this nation's ever had. The southern border with 2.2 million gotaways, but even some of the ones they arrested and released that weren't properly vetted, that came back hot after they released them, that they were on the list, the terrorist watch list. Biggest national security vulnerability in my lifetime. Even the FBI director, who I have zero respect in, even he agrees with me. Biggest national security vulnerability in the history of this nation. More red flags never seen before. And you, as an elected governor, elected mayor, want to stop me from removing public safety threats and national security threats from your communities? It's insulting at every level. Look, the New York City Mayor Eric Adams brought me to the table, and he sees his job as mayor. Plus, that when I sat down with him, I quickly saw a career cop come out on him, because he's a career cop. He understands public safety threats should not be walking our neighborhoods. So he's stepping up. I'm hoping other mayors and governors step up. Hoping it create a domino effect that people start reading the statutes, start talking to. Talk to your constituents, for God's sake. The mayor of Chicago should talk to his constituents. He has the lowest rating in the history of any mayor in the history of the United States ever. I think he's got like a 21% approval rating now. So look, read the statute, be advised, we're coming. You're not going to stop us.
Advise, we're coming. You're not going to stop us. And oh, by the way, it's a felony. I don't know if it's an insurrection. We'll put you in jail. Later on in the interview, he goes, that's not a threat. Oh, wait, yeah, it is a threat. Dude, when someone like Tom Homan looks directly down the barrel and goes, I'm not threatening you. Actually, maybe I am. You should be a little worried. And in fact, it turns out that clip, which went thermonuclear viral, had ended up having a real world effect. You are literally helping save America by tuning in to this program, because here we go, breaking this morning, the law enforcement officials that Tom Homan was talking about there in Colorado with their petulant left-wing leadership, those law enforcement officials are now beginning to get in line and round up criminal aliens by the dozen just this morning, doing multiple raids across Colorado. Woo, baby! We are helping save this country. One frickin' brick at a time. Here's the breaking news.
Okay, Aurora, Colorado now. This is a live look now. The sun is up there in that state, and police have now detained 14 people and reported armed home invasion. That's the same apartment complex where a lot of people were complaining about the armed Venezuelan gang members roaming the halls. Reports indicate that investigators said that several suspects entered the apartment and had two people inside. The suspects then reportedly moved the victims to another apartment complex, or rather another unit on the property, where police said they were found threatened and bound. An adult man sustained a non-life-threatening stab wound. At the moment, police say it's unclear if the suspects are connected to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, but we'll get a live report in Colorado 30 minutes away and bring you the latest on that developing story.
Oh, okay, got it. Remember that was a conspiracy theories? Remember when we were all like horrible racists and bigots, conspiracy theorists? We all need to be deleted, go to re-education camps, where we have to sit there in our gray sweatsuits and listen to Kamala Harris cackle all day across the prison yard to break us mentally because we said that there were gangs Venezuelan gangs, Tren de Aragua, flooding into apartment buildings in Colorado and taking them over and then using them as torture chambers. Oh, wait a second. So now Colorado police are on board with that? Freaking Tom Homan yesterday on our program laying down the law. Not just that tweet, but another one. Can we grab the other tweet? The other clip where he's like, I am threatening you. This is a threat. If you try and stop me, you're going to prison. Tom Homan said that on our program yesterday. We nuked these clips, we sent that message, and lo and behold, boom, raids this morning in Colorado. He was specifically talking about law enforcement in Colorado. Oh, man. Freaking great. Ladies and gentlemen, so we are having real-world effects, and there's, well, I guess no limit. We're here to tell you that this is the way that we get the result that we want. We go hard, we don't get psyoped, tricked, intimidated, embarrassed, or shamed into not talking about the real world problems that our country's having. We take them head on, whether it's a drone or the January 6th insurrection. Just put it up, Klein. And we go in hard. And we're actually seeing the real world change from that. It's remarkable, and it's like, quite frankly, an answer to prayer. Border czar Tom Homan tells liberal activists who try and fight Trump's illegal alien deportations, harboring an illegal alien from an officer of the law is a felony. Impeding a federal law enforcement officer is a felony. We are going to enforce the law. This is not a threat. Maybe it is. And left-wing mayors and governors started rounding up criminal aliens the next morning. Okay, so boom, shaka, laka, thank you. Holy guacamole. Yes, full puns intended. Now, again, they called us conspiracy theorists for saying that Venezuelan gangs were taking over Colorado apartment buildings, and lo and behold, that's what's happening. Now, they also called us conspiracy theorists for saying that these drones were sniffing out potential nuclear waste or a potential nuclear weapon or dirty bomb all across New Jersey. Yesterday, President Trump said in his Q&A after his announcement that SoftBank was going to be investing $100 billion, and then Donald Trump literally leverages them into $200 billion live in front of the world to see. Gee, freaking genius. What a G. What a G. What a G move that dude is. I mean, it's incredible. He's like the best negotiator on planet Earth, and he's negotiating live on camera for the golden future of America. It is really the greatest timeline to be alive. So here's what we know for certain. When all the people who brought you the Russiagate Hoax 1, Russiagate Hoax 2, Russiagate Hoax 3, which was launched about this program, and me, Russiagate, they're ready to go with Russiagate 4, 5, 6, and 7, that brought you the Ukraine war, that brought you the Hunter Biden laptop, 51 intel experts telling you that it was all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation, that it wasn't real, when they knew damn well it was real. These people who've brought you every single hoax and every single lie, when they all collude together to tell you the same message, you got to be very suspicious. But now, DHS, FBI, the FAA, and the DOD all agree that there's no national security threat to all the drones that we see flying over New Jersey. Got it? Yeah. Let's go ahead and read here, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we keep covering the story, because it's just so obvious that the liars who've been lying to us for such a long time are lying about this, and there's a reason why they're lying about this. What is that reason? Joint statement said over 1 million drones are lawfully registered with the FAA in the United States, adding over 1,000 of commercial, hobbyist, and law enforcement drones flying in use of airspace every single day. Huh? So they're saying all these drones are registered with the United States? You're joking. So the take is that the hundreds, at least hundreds of drones, thousands of drones that are over New Jersey, that they're all just like hobbyists, just dudes sitting there in their garage, flying these drones over Trump's house and military bases. The FBI has received tips of more than 5,000 reported drone sightings the last few weeks, and approximately 100 leads generated. The federal government is supporting state and local officials in investigating these reports. Consistent with each of these unique missions and authorities, we are quickly prioritizing the following leads. We have sent advanced detection technology to the region, and we have sent trained visual observers. The joint statement reiterated the current evidence shows that the drone sightings include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and people mistakenly seeing stars and thinking that they're drones. Got it? Yeah. It's like a Looney Tunes. It's like Wile E. Coyote falling off a cliff. You're just seeing stars if you're in New Jersey. More importantly, all four departments said that the drones pose no national security or public safety risk, while recognizing the concern that communities feel regarding the drones that may have been sent and seen on military facilities or over DoD installations. So all of the known liars are telling you that there's nothing to see here. Meanwhile, President Trump is saying, no, the government's lying. Now, President Trump's the one who's getting the freaking national security briefings. We should listen to him. Yesterday, President Trump said, the government knows what's going on. They're government drones. Why don't they tell us? Why don't they? Here we go.
Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and the ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
You should know
they're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
So he has received an intelligence briefing on the drones. Now Donald Trump is canceling his trips to New Jersey. Now, yesterday, there was a report that there has been missing nuclear material in New Jersey. Many have said that this is not enough nuclear material to cause any type of panic. I don't really know enough about nuclear waste to comment on it. And so we've taken a step back, and we're going to let experts look into this. But the U.S. Nuclear Authority and Research Agency said, yeah, we lost a train car of nuclear material in New Jersey. Is that what the drones are hunting for? We played you a whistleblower clip yesterday showing that the people who run drone operations for the U.S. military are saying, yeah, this might be, they're sniffing for something, they're looking for something. John Kirby, who's one of those known liars that has regularly and consistently lied to the American people, asked about the drones and a nuclear dirty bomb yesterday. Here we go.
Thing. You don't see any linkage between the number of that this is all tied together in one thing. You think these are all different elements and different kinds of drones, not with one company, not with the military, not with the DOE, Department of Energy. You don't say that they're looking for some nuclear material. You say these are all different flying objects, some of them manned, some not.
Our assessment to date is that, Brett, that this is a collection of law enforcement, hobbyists, commercial drones, and of course civil aviation aircraft that have caused all these sightings. And it's not attributable to an actor for a purpose. And again, I want to stress to your viewers, we don't see anything that indicates a national security or a public safety threat. The last thing I'll say, Brett, and I appreciate the time you're giving me, is this is an ongoing investigation. We're still working our way through this. Sightings continue to come in. We've taken them all seriously, and we'll continue to look at this. And if we learn more, if we know more, certainly if we find something that's contradictory to what we believe today, I'll be right up here on your show talking about it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get transparency back in government. It's time to get guys like Chad Wolf, who was serving as DHS secretary under President Trump, the first term, back in telling us what's actually happening. They haven't told us anything about the guy who hit Trump with a bullet in the head. Thomas Crooks, poof, vanished. It's gone. He's gone. Right? Vapor. We know nothing about Ryan Ralph, who has multiple terabytes of internet history and information, who is recruiting ISIS to go fight in Ukraine with no-look rubber stamp visas from the State Department. How the hell did he get that? Nobody knows. The guy was on the FBI watch list. We know nothing. The guy was not supposed to be allowed to own firearms. The FBI had a tip on him. They did nothing. What's what the F is going on here exactly? These people, they continue to lie to us. And I've got to be perfectly frank with you, as people who covered the East Palestine meltdown very closely and were in East Palestine a week after that meltdown happened, because we felt so bad for those freaking people, because the government lied so much about this and they destroyed a good and peaceful and beautiful community. We don't believe them. I just don't believe you. I believe something happened, and the military is clearly flying these drones, and they're actively looking or engaging in something. CIA analysts are on Fox News saying that it's a surveillance operation. CIA analysts aren't allowed to go on Fox News and say that kind of stuff unless it's a surveillance operation. It's like, do you understand? They're telling us, okay? And they're saying there's no threat. The FBI just this morning put out a little notice saying, please don't shoot the drones. It's like, please don't shoot our drones, please. So what the hell is it? I don't freaking know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do know somebody who has been, let's just call it, in the bubble, right? In the bubble. And that would be Lara Trump. Lara Trump, somebody who's obviously existed with Secret Service protection, who knows the full capacity of the nation's military, because she, flies on Air Force One, right? Like, she's clearly a total G. She's someone who does deeply understand this nation and how to protect it. She's somebody who has fought so very hard so that we get to this current moment as RNC co-chair. And she's someone who we firmly believe will be the next senator in the state of Florida. And that's certainly what we want under our Christmas tree on December 25th. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining us live now to answer some of these many pressing questions is the great Lara Trump. Good morning and Merry Christmas, Lara.
Merry Christmas. I am a G. I'm going to agree with that. Can you call Eric Trump and let him know? Remind him just one time on that, Benny, because he needs to be reminded sometimes,
Yes. Oh, I absolutely will. Oh, I'd be happy.
I love the intro.
I said, hey, listen, I've seen this woman wear a giant golden Donald Trump necklace.
That's true.
ALX, let's grab the photo. I've seen the necklace. I've seen the kicks. I've seen the Bentley.
And if you can rock something like that, like it kind of means something, Benny, not for nothing,
So, okay, listen, I'm telling all the G's right now, careful shooting these drones down. Now I'm seeing videos of people shooting at the drones. Maybe don't shoot the drones. I don't know. What are these things? Lara Trump, you have existed inside of the government's protection bubble. You've seen the full capacities of the federal government and the way that they can protect our skies and our borders and our land and our sea. And it's obvious that this isn't a foreign power that's sending this stuff over, because that would be like an act of war. So it's become quite clear, and your father-in-law said yesterday, the government is doing this and they're lying to the American people. What do you think is going on?
Yeah, well, and he said yesterday as well, yeah, they know exactly what's going on. They know where it started, where it took off, they know where it went, and they know where it ended up. And I mean, you're right. I have seen the inside of this to some extent. You mentioned Eric and I had Secret Service protection for 4.5 years. I've seen, the inside of the apparatus from the perspective of a family member of a president. And there's no doubt that we have the best and the brightest in the United States military and all the protective services offered to a president and a first family. And there's no doubt they know what this is. And I think that's what's frustrating to the people of this country. Why can't you just be honest with us? But Benny, they've been lying to us about everything. Remember when they told us that inflation was transitory? Remember when they told us that Joe Biden was fit as a fiddle running circles around the interns at the White House? Nothing to see here, folks. Remember when they lied about the origins of COVID-19? They have lied and lied and lied and lied to the American people. And it's one of the big reasons I think so many people came out and voted for Donald Trump, because they're like, look, maybe I don't love the delivery method every single time from Donald Trump, although I do personally. I think it's fantastic. But he's going to tell you the truth and he's going to give it to you straight. And that is all people want at the end of the day. Man, it's frightening to know that we have car-sized drones flying around up above us. Nobody can give us any real explanation for it. I think you're right. I think there's something being hidden. I think ultimately we'll find out what it is. But it is terrible that we cannot trust our federal government Our taxpayer dollars are going to pay these people's salaries. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, they can't even be honest with us about things we see with our very eyes every single day, Benny. It's outrageous.
I continue to remind the chat that this is how we found out about the Chinese spy balloon. Not because of the government, not because the government notified us the first time they caught the Chinese spy balloon, but because some dude was there with a telescope like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly. And it was flying over military bases. Right. It was flying over our nuclear sites. This is the kind of thing that make the American people a little bit concerned. And don't forget, nothing happened with that. Remember, they just were like, yeah, so it's floating across the country. No biggie, guys. Nothing to see here. When was Xi Jinping ever questioned about that? When was he ever asked, hey, remember the spy balloon you sent over? What kind of intel did you guys get? And what are you going to do with that information? Everybody just, you know what? Look the other way. Nothing to see here. It's very frustrating to understand that we have a government operating this way. These are people who are supposed to be in positions of power to protect us, to ensure our safety, to ensure that the adversaries out there and the enemies out there are planning something nefarious. And unfortunately, I think more often than not, people are like, yeah, there's probably going to be something bad that happens by way of China or Iran or the terrorist regimes that have built themselves back up thanks to the vacuum left in the Middle East by the Biden exit from Afghanistan. People are concerned, and rightly so, but I have good news because 35 days from now, ladies and gentlemen, Daddy's home. He's coming back in. He's taking things over, and he's cleaning up the mess. His name's Donald Trump.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that mess. Is something that you just mentioned. January 6th report out today. In fact, breaking at time of show. House Republicans exposed January 6th committee's lies, cover-ups, and scandals in new report that was just released. I want to punch on down here to the data that was deleted and also the Cheney cover-up, where the report conclusively states that Liz Cheney worked with one of the key witnesses, somebody that you might have known from the White House, Cassidy Hutchinson. She's an ex-aide to White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, and Liz Cheney flipped this witness, rewrote her testimony, according to the January 6th report here, and then did so without the advice or consent of a lawyer present. So Liz Cheney kicked out the attorney, and then Cassidy Hutchinson completely changes the story into Orange Hulk, my favorite story of all time. Which
so
I
good.
would watch. I would watch the freaking movie, Laura. I'd watch it. Where's the ticket? If Marvel made it, I'd buy it. I'd buy the ticket. Give me the ticket. Like if you made Orange Hulk and it was Trump that could smash through like the windows, the bulletproof windows.
Yeah, the bulletproof glass.
You're right. That's
right through it.
And Trump,
right through it. No brass knuckles needed, just bare-fisted,
that's right
through it, grabbing a hold of the steering wheel, turning it, even though the Secret Service agents with machine guns are sitting in front. Yeah, that story, oh yeah. I'd buy a ticket to that one too. Let me know whenever it's going to run. I'll
Orange
go
Hulk.
with you.
They're bringing
It's
Red
my
Hulk
treat.
back. We have Red Hulk, we have Green Hulk, now we get Orange Hulk, and I'll buy the ticket if you make it about Donald Trump. Anyway, that's the story that she concocted with Liz Cheney. In this report now, please scroll down to one more paragraph here. This report now confirms. Continue, client, please. Confirmed a Cheney cover-up. There it is. Okay. This report, scroll up. This report, Cheney cover-up. No, scroll down. There you are. Cheney cover-up. There it is. So this report, I want everyone to read it. It's on the Federalist right now. We're looking at the Federalist. This now conclusively states, Barry Loudermilk's like, Cheney freaking did it. Okay? She did it. She broke the law while doing it. Then they deleted all the evidence of her doing it. And this is plainly criminal. What do you think should happen to Liz Cheney?
Wait, Benny, you mean that the January 6th thing wasn't real? You mean that I've been concerned about Donald Trump as a threat to democracy ever since. This thing from the very beginning has been a hot bunch of garbage. The idea that they have tried to force this down the throats of the American people since January of 2021, they thought this was the ticket. Look, they were desperate for anything to happen to make sure that Donald Trump never got back in the White House. The moment they have been dreading, again, we're 35 days away from that moment right now. I can't wait for it. The country can't wait for it. The world, quite frankly, can't wait for it. But they said, you know what we'll do? We will take this thing and we will blow it up out of proportion. We'll ruin people's lives. We'll throw people in jail, regardless of whether or not they did anything. We'll put people on no-fly lists. We will make people admit to things they didn't do because we're the government and we can threaten you and we're the Department of Justice and you should be afraid of us. Everything that has happened with this January 6th nonsense, anyone who did anything illegal ought to be held accountable. And I'm not a legal expert or a legal scholar, but I do know that when you break the law, that means you go to jail and you serve time. What they have perpetrated on the American people by way of this January 6th hoax is absolutely terrible. And it is a stain on our country's history. These people ought to be ashamed of themselves. I know they aren't. So we'll go ahead and shame them. We'll go ahead and make sure they never forget that history recalls every single day from now till forever what these people did and the way they personally and single-handedly tried to destroy this country. Thank goodness God is good, and he always shows us. He shines the light in the dark places. This is just the beginning, Benny. If you think this is good, wait till Donald Trump gets in there. Wait till Kash Patel gets in there. Wait till Tulsi Gabbard gets in there. Wait till these people start shining a light in all the dark places that the Democrats and the establishment never wanted us to go. This is another reason people were desperate to have Donald Trump back in the White House.
Boom, shakalaka. Like you're speaking from obviously passionately because you've been a victim of this.
Yep.
Your husband is arguably the most subpoenaed man on earth, maybe second only to his father. And you've experienced this as a family on a day-to-day, constant, continual basis. Where would you like to see Kash Patel, Pam Bondi? Where would you like to see them start, right? Since you've actually lived it.
Yeah, I have lived it. And, you know, I feel everybody's like, maybe you should write a book one day. I have enough for like so many books at this point, the things that have happened in my life personally, but the things I've been witness to as a member of this family, it's insane. People wouldn't even believe it. You couldn't even write it into a movie script. People would say that's fake. That's not real. Look, I am never a person. I agree with Donald Trump that I think success for our country will be his best revenge. I am not one that is seeking out retribution, but I do believe if you are a person who has done something wrong, improper, broken the law, you know what? We have a great slate of people who want to see the right things happen. We don't want to set a bad precedent for this country. We don't want to politicize things the way the Democrats have. We're the good guys at the end of the day. We're the ones who want to see the right things happen and hold people accountable, of course, if they've done something wrong, but make sure that we reestablish how things are supposed to go in Washington, D.C., what country we are supposed to be, how our founders envision America operating. All the things that have happened over the past 4 years, but really 9 years since Donald Trump came down the escalator in Trump Tower, it's really egregious. And it's a shame that these people felt like they had to go to this length, to try to maintain and retain their power. I think we're going to have a great slate of people. I'm glad you brought up Pam Bondi. I've known Pam Bondi for so long. She is the perfect fit for Attorney General. She's going to do amazing things. And quite frankly, we're going to right the ship. Over the next 4 years, you're going to see the right sort of things start to happen. And I just think that you're going to see more come out. People are going to start being able to trust our government again, trust our agencies again. And it'll be due to, in large part, the people that Donald Trump is bringing to be by his side in Washington, D.C. He's got a great team he's assembled. I hope they all get confirmed by the Senate. And I can't wait. January 20th can't come soon enough.
Yes. And, also we're very excited for you to be confirmed in the Senate. And it's going to be so exciting. We've already covered that, but like we're very excited about it. So this is a problem when you live in a republic and people lie to you, right? Because we're supposed to be shareholders in this country. And when you're lying to the shareholders, that's illegal, actually. You go to jail for that if you're a privately held company. But our government lies to us constantly, and it's always the same thing. They're trying to protect themselves. So whatever's going on with the drones, there's something humiliating. This is the thing I absolutely know. There's something embarrassing that happened that they're trying to cover up or stop from us knowing about. And it's the same thing with the Diddy list. It's the same thing with the Epstein list. There's something humiliating that happened with Bill Clinton. There's something embarrassing that happened to their donors and their friends. And they are using federal agencies to protect them and to cover it up. And so that is why I believe one of the first acts, I mean, it's not because I want to like Google it. It's because I actually believe that this is like the building block of transparency to build back trust is releasing the Epstein list, is just saying we don't protect pederasts. Right in this government, we believe that's not only do we believe it's wrong, it's morally, of course, evil and despicable, but it's also, of course, plainly illegal. So we're not going to protect them, and we're going to tell you about them, and we're going to prosecute when needed. This is like the restoration of like the first. It's why I ask everyone like, should one of the first acts be the release of the Epstein list and the release of the Diddy list? Now it's like,
Well, yeah, we need transparency, and we need to know who's been involved in all this stuff. And the irony, Benny, is the things that have been thrown at Donald Trump, the accusations made against him, that this guy's out just for himself. He's getting special treatment because he's some billionaire from New York. He's, a media mogul, and this big businessman. It's all actually the opposite. Those are the people on those lists have been getting special treatment. The establishment people have been getting special treatment because they're part of this whole organization. That's not, to your point, how this country is supposed to operate. We, the people, are actually in charge, and we're the ones who demand to know the answers, and we should get those answers, and it all should come out in the wash, and we need to see everything. We need it laid bare. And this really, look, Donald Trump talks about the golden age of America. You really sometimes have to get back to brass tacks, to bare bones, to take it all back down to almost nothing and really expose it all to rebuild again. And I really feel like that's kind of where we are as a country. There's so many people who've been awakened over the past 4 years and have understood they've been lied to, specifically about Donald Trump and Republicans and what it is we want to do in this country. They're on board now. They want the truth. They want the transparency. Release the list. Give us every name on there. Let's start there. I'm with you on that. I'm happy to see it.
Let's have it. I don't need to. Killer Klein's like, she's such a G. She's such a G. I don't need to say. It's amazing. Like the people that hated your father-in-law the very most, Diddy, LeBron James, Ellen. They're the ones fleeing the country. LeBron James, the guy being like, "Oh, I'm not going to play in the NBA anymore. Maybe I'll join the Chinese league." He's the guy who's like somehow mysteriously just vanished, or all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
And they're the people who had such high moral authority and victimhood, complexes with your father-in-law, right? They were always lecturing and always virtue signaling against Donald Trump. And it turns out that they are like despicable, truly evil, heinous monsters, these people.
Yeah. Ironic, and it's weird how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah. Donald Trump was the only guy that helped put Jeffrey Epstein in prison, actually. That's a matter of historic fact. Yeah, that would be amazing. That'd be very fun. What would you like to see happen first day of your father-in-law's new administration? What's the first executive order? Like, what if you were to help reshuffle the folders that are going to be on the Resolute desk? Which one would it be?
Well, I would like to go ahead and reopen the Keystone XL pipeline. That was the first executive order that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris signed when they took over things at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that's been so detrimental, really, to the entire country. Monetarily, it drove up inflation. It took away our energy independence. It allowed countries who are our adversaries like Russia and Iran to enrich themselves because we weren't producing oil and we weren't able to do the same things we previously were. I think single-handedly, that was one of the worst acts possible. So my hope would be that would be the first thing Donald Trump reverses day one, minute one, whenever he sits down at the Resolute desk. Let's get that sucker right back open. We know he wants to drill, baby, drill. And then I think he's probably going to turn his attention to the southern border. There were 95 executive orders that the Biden-Harris administration repealed and overturned that secured our southern border. I think Donald Trump will be happy to put those back in place and make sure that we're not selling off for pennies on the dollar parts of our southern border wall, which, by the way, Benny, I went down to Yuma, Arizona. I saw with my own eyes. You have sections of the wall this is how upsetting it is. Literally, you have this beautiful wall built. It's huge. It's insurmountable. You can never get over this thing. It's very well constructed. And then you have like 30-foot sections wide open where people just flow right through. But guess what? The wall is laid down on the ground. All the components are there. All they had to do is stand it up. They refused to do that during the Biden-Harris administration because Joe Biden made a campaign promise and he said, "I won't build another foot of Trump's border wall." It's outrageous. It should infuriate every single person in this country. So I have a feeling that day one, that'll be also something that Donald Trump immediately turns his attention to.
Very quickly, since you brought the Keystone XL pipeline, you would need Canada's coordination with that. Turns out Justin Trudeau is having a very tough time, even though he went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. And now his entire government's in collapse. Donald Trump called him the governor of the great state of Canada this morning in a True Social post. Which I'm not sure if you write them or not. I don't know. It sounds like a little Lara Trump in there. Your thoughts on our great friends of the North? Any takes on that?
Well, I've seen a lot of posts from friends of mine in Canada who are very excited to have Donald Trump back as the United States president. And I don't think they'd be too upset if we added Canada to the slate of our states here in the U.S. But I think it's in Canada's best interest to work alongside the U.S. And I think Trudeau's got the message. I think his own people are sending him that message very strongly. And so I think they'd probably be ready to play ball on that front if it came down to the Keystone XL pipeline. There's no doubt.
Well, we have proof. If they needed any help being motivated to play ball, we have proof of why you shouldn't make Donald Trump angry. We've actually created live on this show for you, since we talked about it. No, Orange Hulk.
Oh my gosh.
We brought you Orange Hulk, okay? Here we go, Laura.
Ready.
For the first time ever on the program, we have Orange Hulk.
Look at him.
Donald.
He looks great.
He does look great.
You know, I keep saying, and I'm not even kidding, for some, usually you have presidents, whenever you go in the White House, it's so stressful. There's so much that you have to personally endure when you're president, that most people age significantly and they look a lot worse for the wear when they come out. Donald Trump is the opposite. I'm always like, why do you look better now than when I met you 16 years ago? And there he is. That's the next iteration of Donald Trump. There he is, the Orange Hulk. I love that. He looks great.
We have Donald Trump like fighting his way out of the car here. I mean, don't worry, we've got it. I mean, we've got it.
There it is.
Let's let her go.
Yeah, nice, Liz.
Yep,
great job.
Good job.
She did it. We did it, Joe.
Good job. Great job. Thank you for your testimony, January 6th committee. We're glad we got this special footage of Trump fighting his way out of the car. Final parting message to Kamala Harris. She's got like 25 days left. So any parting message, since you were so critical in delivering this exciting Christmas present for all of us?
It is. And we are saying Merry Christmas again. That's back. 4 years ago, we were saying it, and then Joe and Kamala took over. Remember, she was a little queasy on that. Not sure if we're going to say it. We're saying Merry Christmas again, Benny. That's official. It's happening again. Thank you, Donald Trump, for that. I'm just going to say you're welcome to Kamala Harris, because I have a hunch, Benny, that whenever they came to her and they were like, that's it, we got to get Joe out of here. Like, this guy is really just tanking. He's dragging everybody down. There's no way we're going to win anything with this guy in. You're up to bat. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. I actually deep down believe she was terrified to be president, because she had no idea what the heck to do, what this was going to look like, how she was going to make this work. So you're welcome is what I'll say to Kamala Harris. And even though I don't believe she voted for Donald Trump, although I kind of think that Joe and Jill may have in that MAGA red suit Joe was wearing, even though you didn't vote for Donald Trump, Kamala, will be a president for you. And I'm going to guarantee you something, your life, even as Kamala Harris, is going to be a lot better thanks to Donald J. Trump being back as our 47th president. So you're welcome.
In conclusion, all of our lives will be a lot better if she decides to run in 2028. Please, Kamala, run in 2028. Please. We beg of you. You have our full endorsement. I know, it's crazy.
She's the best they got. That's what they say. She's right at the top there, Benny. God bless him.
Here's Laura Trump's ex. Of course, you already follow her. And also here's Laura Trump proof that she wears the giant MAGA chain right there.
Oh, yeah,
there it is. Amazing.
I do all right with that.
Follow Laura Trump. 2 million Americans can't be wrong. And Merry Christmas, Laura.
Merry Christmas. Thank you to everyone.
Oh boy, we're cooking today, baby. Cooking today. Laura Trump was going in hard, going in hot. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an exciting time to be an American. This is a moment for truth and justice the American way. It is a moment for us to take a step back, to recognize our blessings, and then to understand that there's work that we have to get done. We must make them pay. They can't say that. The people who are like a part of the administration can't say that. But I can say it. There have to be consequences for what you've done. Every parent understands this. Are you a parent? You got kids? Do you have like little nieces and nephews? Do you have like the really well-behaved ones? Well, they're the ones who have consequences in life. Life is consequences. Nothing punches back harder than life. Life will knock you down, will beat you into a pulp. Life will hurt. The only way for you to toughen up, if you're a parent, little kid, you understand this, especially if you've got a 2-year-old. I got a 2-year-old. Oh, man. And I'm going to have 2 more 2-year-olds, right? Go to another go to our last ultrasound today, actually. My wife. We're expecting in January, next month. But it's like proof proved out over the course of all generations and all time. Kids that had no discipline weren't loved. People that had no consequences in life become horrible adults. They become terrible to people. Actually, the best thing we can do for the degenerate demons, slobs, and goblins and orcs who brought all of this upon President Trump and our movement, who did everything, launched every hoax, the best thing we could possibly do is consequence. And here's why. They might not like it. They might not like going to prison. Liz Cheney is not going to, she's going to squeal like a pig going to prison. But here's the deal. One, Liz Cheney, here's the way I would put it. Prison is better than the other thing we could sentence you to, which is permanent pheasant hunting with your father, okay? Prison is actually less dangerous. That's the other thing that you could do. You'd prefer prison. Second, they may not like it, but there's so many other little goblins who would love to do what they did. And it needs to be a warning sign to all of them. There must be consequences for what they've done. The line from Trump's administration, which is very smart, is we don't want retribution. We don't want retribution. No, I want retribution. Okay, yeah. We live in a world of laws. That's why we're so happy to have Tom Homan on the show yesterday. There needs to be like, oh, you committed a felony, you go to jail. It's just like all the rest of us. Why do you think Joe Biden was so quick to pardon everybody? Joe Biden's pardoned more people than any of the past 40 presidents. Joe Biden's pardoned 8,000 people. He's not even close to done yet, including, of course, a blanket absurd pardon for a son that might not even be constitutional. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we say all that to say that the narratives are collapsing. Here we go. Let's dive into this report from today. Democrats illegally established and since disbanded Partisan Select Committee on January 6th ran a 2-year operation to frame political opponents as criminal insurrectionists and then covered up the members' own misconduct. Oh, baby. According to a nearly 130-page interim report released on Tuesday by House Republicans who reviewed the panel's work, lawmakers under the former Speaker Nancy Pelosi's direction suppressed evidence that contradicted the committee's narrative, circumvented key witnesses' legal representation, and deleted more than a terabyte of digital data relating to the investigation. Georgia Republican Barry Loudermilk, the chairman of the House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, who led the probe into the January 6th probe, wrote the report's introduction letter, and his team's finding reveals that there was not just one single cause for what happened on January 6th. It was a series of intelligence and security and leadership failures at several levels and numerous entities, said Loudermilk. Even amidst multiple failures, two common elements that significantly contributed to the security issues: an excessive amount of political interference and influence on critical decisions, and greater concern over the optics than protecting life and property. Many of the failures around optics had already been previously reported by the House Republicans, who exposed Pelosi's refusal to deploy the National Guard multiple times ahead of the riot. But with as many government scandals and cover-ups, evidence exacerbated our efforts to find the facts and expose the truth. They deleted the data. I encourage you to go read the full report. And the Cheney cover-up, let's just jump really quickly here into the Cheney cover-up. The latest report out by House Republicans outlined 8 findings related to Hutchinson's explosive testimony, including the backdoor channels that the committee vice chair Liz Cheney took to circumvent former White House aide's attorney, Stephen Passantino. Investigators not only exonerated Trump for his actions, he assaulted Secret Service agents, sought to personally riot at the Capitol and hang his vice president, but also found evidence that the committee corroborated to disbar Passantino. The Select Committee did this by using the content of a not yet public report to accuse Passantino of instructing Hutchinson to lie, but it turns out that it was Liz Cheney instructing Hutchinson to lie. Of course, she deleted all of the evidence of this, ladies and gentlemen, and so here we are. While Republican investigators were hamstrung from a complete review of the committee's taxpayer-funded inquisition, Loudermilk's staff did conduct a thorough investigation into Pelosi's panel. The former ex-White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows sensationalized the televised show trials of January 6th as she claimed that President Donald Trump tried to violently hijack his limousine and drive himself to the U.S. Capitol. Hutchinson was immediately contradicted by the same sources that she cited in her public congressional hearing, but was celebrated by Trump's opponents. The whole thing was a fraud. Everything was a fraud. It goes into the National Guard not being deployed in what is the greatest act of treason in our federal government's history. Donald Trump said, use the National Guard to protect the Capitol. General Milley said, oh, yeah, sure, sir. And then behind the scenes, General Milley back-channeled to make sure there was no National Guard there. Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C. did the exact same thing to ensure that there would be some type of chaos at the Capitol. I've lived under National Guard control because they brought in the National Guard. As soon as J6 was done and the op was over and they got what they needed on camera, then they brought in the National Guard and locked down D.C. like it was like it was freaking Baghdad. And I lived under that like jackboot. I'm telling you that we're the National Guard brought in the way that Trump ordered them to be brought in as commander-in-chief. And had he not had treasonous generals working under him who did literally commit high treason, I can't wait for them to. They should do it on national TV. They should take General Milley, dress him up in his uniform, and they should rip all of the medals off his chest. They should do it on national TV. The dude should get all of his pensions taken away. He should get all of his rank taken away. He should be tried for treason. General Milley worked hand in glove with Susan Rice, Barack Obama, the Barack Obama Nexus apparatchik, and Nancy Pelosi in order to perpetrate on the American people the January 6 hoax. He did it. And he did it by defying the president's rightful orders, his commander-in-chief. General Milley is a chief villain in all of this, ladies and gentlemen. Also, chief villains in all of this, the FBI. Now, multiple times under oath, the FBI has lied and said that there were no FBI agents there, or there were no confidential human informants is what they call it. There are no confidential human informants. Well, wait a second. Can an FBI agent just resign and become a confidential human informant? That's exactly what they did in the Whitmer Fednapping, and that's exactly what they did during January 6th. The Inspector General report proved that dozens of confidential human informants were not only at January 6th, they were going into the Capitol and they were encouraging break-ins at the Capitol. They were encouraging the criminal activity that they knew would be used to put people away for life. Some of these sentences for January 6th, people that weren't even at January 6th is like up to 22 years in prison. This is explosive testimony, ladies and gentlemen, from the Inspector General and his massive report on FBI malfeasance during January 6th. Here's the first part of it.
Fox News alert, the Justice Department just released the bombshell report that we've been waiting for. What actually happened on January 6th? The FBI had 26 confidential human sources there that day. 26. A confidential human source is a guy the FBI pays to spy for them. Of the 26 confidential human sources who were in D.C. on Jan 6th, 4 entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 13 entered the restricted area around the Capitol. So more than a dozen FBI spies participated in the so-called insurrection. A bunch of them broke into the Capitol. Their own Inspector General says this is what happened. But that's not what they told you when they testified under oath.
Those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
The inspector was hiding something, so Congress asked the question a different way. Listen.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Ray,
confidential human
gentleman's time.
Ray's right. The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources.
Rats in MAGA hats. ALX, I'll never forgive you for cutting off the rats in MAGA hats line. I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive ALX. Okay, you're forgiven. This is a absolutely stunning revelation. Why isn't this larger news? Well, it is in some circles. There are some people who have actually come to terms with the fact that the government does perpetually and constantly lie to us. Now, in a moment here, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a great member of Congress from New Jersey joining us to talk about these drones and potential government lies. But very quickly here, I want to get to Stephen A. Smith, who's a leftist, who is a Kamala supporter, who's a Democrat. He's somebody that was no big fan of Joe Biden. And I don't know, what do I think about Stephen A. Smith? I think that he I think that he shoots. I think that he shoots straight in a sense that he observes like the reality around him and then talks about it honestly when given a chance. Like this guy was clowning on Joe Biden a year ago, saying he would lose to Donald Trump and that he's not fit to be president. So that's like bravery in the corporate media ecosystem where he lives. Stephen A. Smith suddenly snapped on January 6th and said, "Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. How many undercover informants? What are you talking about? Have you been lying to us the entire time?" Here we go.
The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department that revealed the FBI had at least 26 confidential informants on the ground when the Capitol was stormed on January 6, 2021. The report says most of the informants engaged in illegal activity during the chaos. The Justice Department says only 3 of its 26 informants present had been instructed to observe potential domestic terrorist suspects on the day of the riot. The rest of the 23 appeared to have gone to the Capitol on their own accord. Upon hearing news of the report, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted the following on X, quote, "For those keeping score at home, this was labeled a dangerous conspiracy theory months ago," end quote. Didn't hear anything about that for the election. Didn't hear anything about that when the quote-unquote insurrection was broached by Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. The belief that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy and using this as a profound, illuminating bullet point to make that case. And now here we are yet again finding even more evidence.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what's called a black pill or a white pill, depending on your perspective, right? If you're on the left, you're getting black pilled. You're like, wow, they've lied to me. They've lied to me about the cornerstone of Democrat media ecosystem over the past 4 years has been that January 6th was 9/11, was Pearl Harbor personified. They've gone to the Capitol and tried to memorialize that. And it was all a lie. And the FBI has been lying as well about the confidential human sources. Now it's starting to crack. All of the narratives are starting to break, shatter, and atomize. What was the pipe bomber doing exactly? Somebody find that out? Ladies and gentlemen, maybe Jeff Van Drew can find that out. Jeff Van Drew is a absolute kick-ass member of Congress. He made a ton of news because, well, he's the member of Congress from New Jersey that switched parties a couple years ago. Did it at the White House with President Trump. And, man, he's somebody who's gotten authority, ladies and gentlemen, in this current moment to talk about what the hell's going on in the skies over New Jersey. So please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jeff Van Drew, member of Congress, Republican from New Jersey, to the show for the first time. Congressman, how are you? That's an amazing series of photos you have behind you there. That's awesome.
Good people, good Americans, and I'm proud to have them up there. Absolutely. And I'm proud to be on your show. Thank you for having me on.
That's right. Ronald Reagan survived an assassination attempt. One of the other Republican to have survived assassination attempts, along with Teddy Roosevelt. It's a pretty epic group of Republican presidents that Donald Trump is amongst.
Well, I've said to President Trump, and I speak to him on a pretty regular basis, we have a special relationship because of the way I came to be in the Republican Party. And I tell him he should be so careful. And I believe at this point, he should have his own elite group, whether it's some Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, whoever else, along with the Secret Service, just to protect him. The bowels of hell are going to be opened up against him. We are trying to make the most significant change in a good way, to our American government that has been made in modern history. It's a big deal, and there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to stop it. There's going to be a lot of people who don't want the truth to be known.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's truly horrifying that there are. They call them drones. Okay, not exactly sure what they are. Nobody's captured one, brought one down, flying over Bedminster. It's flying over his home. I mean, the dude lives in New Jersey for half the year. So the president lives in New Jersey, and there are these aircraft that nobody's been forthcoming with us about what they are or where they're from, and they're flying over President Trump's house. Are we a real country? Like, are we a real nation? There's a lot of military bases in your state, sir. A lot of patriotic, great, wonderful, beautiful people in your state that serve our country. They don't deserve to have like these things flying over their military bases, Trump's house.
This is the usual pablum that we expect from this administration. They don't know what they are. They don't know who's sending them. They don't know what they're about. They don't know what they contain. They haven't in any way taken one or more of them down to study them and see what they are. They say that it obviously just can't be a backyard hobbyist. Now, let me be clear. There are some people who are misidentifying some. Some of them are just stars. Some of them are airplanes. Some of them are backyard hobbyists. But there are ones that have been seen by extremely reputable people, including the Coast Guard. I'll tell you a story, and I haven't said this to everybody yet. We got a call a few days ago, and this isn't classified anymore, from the nuclear power plant in New Jersey, in Salem County, the Salem nuclear power plant. And they said, these aren't a few guys in the backyard down in some beers here. These are real people with gravitas, right? And they said that there were 2 drones that came within the periphery of the nuclear power plant that were the size of minivans or SUVs that were in the air and hovered for a while. And they are so concerned that they have now asked for their airspace to be a no-fly zone, to be restricted airspace. In the entire history of the nuclear power plant over decades, they've never asked for that before. These are real people. They're serious people. So this administration, you know, they're trying to they have their deputy press secretary come out and say, almost like, you know, you're looking down on you. It's almost the elitist attitude, like you're a jackass that's overreacting because you're talking about this. No, it's a real thing. And the bottom line is, and I'll say this real quickly, are they just all backyard hobbyists? Obviously not. These drones are too sophisticated, some of them. Or is it a company that's a drone company within the continental United States that are doing experiments and testing prototypes? No, they would never do it that way. They would never want to risk angering the government to whom they sell these drones. Is it the government themselves? Well, they swear it's not. They are telling us it's not, which only leaves a foreign entity. I mean, there's only so many ways to go here. Bottom line here, the bottom line is this is either a case of gross stupidity or a cover-up or both.
Congressman, I'm glad you brought that up because you made massive news, and we covered it when you said that this could be an Iranian mothership launching drones off our coast. And we've had members of the military and law enforcement in your home state of New Jersey, also mayors, come on and respond to that. Many had differing responses. Some people called that preposterous. I wanted to give you an opportunity, given the threat assessment and maybe some intel briefings that you've received on this subject. Do you still believe that?
They're not going to tell you this in intel. And I'm not saying that it definitely was. I never, ever indicated that. Here's the deal. Individuals with top security clearance, numerous sources, came to me because of my involvement with this technology, because I am in the aviation subcommittee. So my office has worked with a lot of different people, including military, on this. They could not reveal who they were because they were afraid they were going to lose their job. They were concerned that our government wasn't monitoring any of it well enough. The sightings that were occurring in New Jersey and in the United States over whether it was a nuclear power plant or military facilities, et cetera, Bedminster, and we're also concerned that the Iranians do have ships. They have 3 of them that were in port in Iran, and that almost a month ago, one of them left. Now, we know now that they're back. They're still not in port, but they're in the southern part of Iran in the sea. But when it left, nobody can track or tell you where it went. And so these individuals were concerned that not right offshore, nobody was going to be, you know, at the beach looking, you know, in South Jersey, looking out and seeing an Iranian. And by the way, they are called motherships. That's not some weird thing that I made up or anybody made up. That is the vernacular. That is the terminology that is used in the drone industry, because these ships that we don't have, because we are a full decade behind China. No exaggeration in this industry and in this technology. These ships have the ability to allow drones to take off, to land, and to be hidden. It's similar to an aircraft carrier, and we don't know where it was. That's shameful. It's shameful the government didn't report on it. Nobody is expecting the United States government to report top secret information. So if they're testing prototypes or they're doing a search and they want to say everything's safe, but we just can't tell you the details, people would accept that. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying it's not them, almost basically it's not real. And the few that there's no explanation for, we don't know who they are, where they're coming from, what they're about, what they're doing, but we're not taking any of them down, even though you could take them down safely over the ocean or in a remote area. How can that make sense? Again, it's either gross stupidity or it's a cover-up or a combination of all of it. And I'll tell you, if today they tell us what it's about and have discovered what's going on, they are a day late and a dollar short.
So what you are proposing here, Congressman, and again, you have access to information that we certainly don't and knowledge that we certainly don't. You're still leaving open the potential for this to be what would be a foreign invasion and or act of war. You have to just assume if you're flying thousands of drones over a state, this would be an act of war by a foreign entity. You still contend that that might be what's happening here.
No, I'm not contending that might be what's happening. I'm saying that it's something that needed to be explored and to get a handle on, which they don't have. And, by the way, the satellite imagery that they use to prove that that's not occurring now because the drone ship is back in Iranian waters, the satellite imagery they use is from a private satellite service that's doing that. The government didn't even do that. What I'm contending is they aren't being truthful with us. They don't have a handle on it. And, currently, is that what's happening? No, because currently those ships are back where they're supposed to be, right around Iran. Still not in port, but in that area. But, my concern was two things. One, when I have people with top security clearance come to me, and they didn't say it was a definite, but that there was a possibility and it needed to be explored and it was being ignored by the government, it was enough. So my job, I believed, was to be honest with the American people and to light a fire under their backside to come out and do something. Finally, in the last couple of days, now they're sending in technology, drone monitoring technology, infrared cameras, because some of them, the infrared cameras will show those that are planes, those that are mistaken sightings, but some of them are real. The majority of them now may not even be real because there's a lot of copycats, but they were real. And obviously the sources I just quoted to you, whether the Coast Guard, whether the nuclear plant, whether retired military, whether law enforcement, are all there, that there's something there. This is bizarro world. We don't know what it is, but we know that everything's okay. I liken it to this. It's almost like going into a doctor's office and saying, I have severe pain in my chest. I can't even stand up. And the doctor looks at you and says, I have no idea what that is, but I know that you're okay. Come on, let's really tell the truth and figure out what this is. Do our job as a government.
So we've lived through the Chinese spy balloon episode, and we've also lived through East Palestine, and there seems to be these converging theories here that potentially the government is maybe using their own drones through a secret program that they can deny to sniff out potentially a radioactive material leak, a dirty bomb, something like that from a terrorist splinter cell. I mean, we do know that thousands of people on the terrorist watch list freely waltzed into the country, and the federal government lost control of them. They lost them. Do you believe that something like that could potentially be happening in your state?
There's any potential. You see here, the problem is if they leave this void, if they don't help the American people understand what's going on, and again, not top secret stuff. I get there's some things they can't tell us, but simply to say, we are testing prototypes or we are searching for something. Everybody's going to be okay, but you're going to see our stuff out there. People are going to accept that. But you know what they don't accept? The constant pattern, particularly with this administration and people around them, whether it was, I'm on the Judiciary Committee as well. Let's talk about how many times we've been lied to. We were lied to that President Biden was cognitively just fine. He was sharp as a tack, sharper than anybody else. obviously an untruth. Then we were lied to about the spy balloon. It was nothing to worry about. We were making a big deal over some hobbyist balloon. Obviously, it was from China. And as it exited the country, after going through a wide swath, we finally shot it down after it had received and transmitted information already. Or if you want to go to the FBI, which you were just talking about a little time ago, again, I'm on that committee and I questioned the Attorney General and the FBI Director and others. The FBI told we're going to send individuals into Roman Catholic churches that were traditional, and because they considered them domestic terrorists. Originally, we were told in committee, absolutely untrue, didn't happen, but we got a hold of the actual emails, and they eventually had to apologize. Or when President Trump said that there was a laptop that Hunter Biden had, and we said so as well, over 50 intel officers, former intel officers, came out and said absolutely untrue, that isn't true. And of course, we know that the laptop exists. Or when we were told that there was Russian collusion between President Trump and Russia in order to win the last election. And then finally, we got an independent report, the Durham report, which detailed, no, it was a guy by the name of Igor Danchenko that fed this false information to the FBI. By the way, they paid him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Who's a bad international actor, admitted he lied, and that the whole thing was a big lie. They had to apologize for that. We caught him. Or Facebook. When Facebook was working with the White House, and they said, no, we're not doing anything, we're not censoring people. And then we got a hold of the internal emails again. This is all through whistleblowers, the kind of people that came to me individually over the drone issue and showed that there were emails back and forth from the White House to Facebook, and Zuckerberg had to come to Washington and apologize to us and say, no, it was wrong. He'll never do it again. It's over and over and over again. And you wonder why people don't believe. I love America. I always believe in America, but not when you do things like this. Not when this administration bastardizes our country by doing this kind of stuff. It's wrong. You need to tell the truth.
Yes, it's wrong. It's the opposite of creating safety and security. Is terrorizing your home state.
We're scaring people.
It's truly terrorizing, right? You can't just fly these SUV. We've had mayors and law enforcement officials from New Jersey packed on the show, and everyone's scared and everyone's worried about what this means for them. And they're real. I mean, these credible people, mayors of big cities that have come on this program and said, we've seen them with our own eyes. They're SUV-sized drones, and they're buzzing our homes. And you can see them with your naked eye standing in the middle of the road. And so someone's operating them. It's totally and completely insulting. I share your outrage as a congressman from the fine state of New Jersey. You say people should be held accountable for their lies. We have the January 6th report out from the Government Oversight Subcommittee this morning saying that Liz Cheney effectively colluded with Cassidy Hutchinson to change her testimony illegal, to do it outside of the bounds of the law and outside of the vision of her attorney illegal, and then deleted all the evidence illegal. What do you think should happen to Liz Cheney?
Oh, she should be in trouble for this, obviously. And I don't know all of the legal ramifications of what you could do to her, but she obviously is discredited. And I think in most people's minds was discredited all along. Her own personal hatred, and that's what it is. It's an actual hatred, has actually tainted her so much that she is someone who is not viable and their word means nothing. But here we go again. Here we go again. People were told one thing, and now we're finding out more and more it wasn't the truth. God Almighty, here's the deal. The government, the executive branch, Congress, we work for the people. The people don't work for us. We have a responsibility to Americans and to our people to tell them the truth and to make sure that we're protecting them and that they feel reassured. This is the worst example of all what's going on right now with the drones. But January 6th is an example. The things I spoke about before with Facebook and with Russian collusion and the laptops is an example. How far we have strayed. You know, you look at the individuals behind me, Ronald Reagan, Thomas Jefferson, and all these presidents that I have, they are rolling over in their graves. This is not the America we know and love. We got to bring America back home for everybody, whether you're liberal or conservative, Democrat or Republican. I mean, we want freedom. This is not freedom. This is not what a free country does. This is what totalitarian states do.
Yeah, in closing here, you're from a totalitarian state in the sense that I saw what your governor did during the COVID lockdowns and how they treated their constituents and permanent mail-in ballots for everyone and the fraud that's been going on and some of these beautiful hamlets around New Jersey and is like really atrocious, and some of it's been federally charged, some of it not, but we've been covering it all. And we'd love to see the state change, and there's a dude out there named Scott Pressler who says that New Jersey could become a swing state and become a swing state very, very quickly and could be turned into a red state and could go the way of Pennsylvania, as we've seen, and then eventually Florida, right? So you Florida, Pennsylvania, and then you turn New Jersey into the next Pennsylvania where you start registering voters and winning. And do you see that happening? Do you see New Jersey as a swing state?
So this is something I know about. If you remember, well over a year ago, President Trump came to me, and again, I have a real friendship with him, man. And he said, listen, you're from New Jersey. He loves New Jersey. He lives half the year in New Jersey. He says, I want to see if we can win it. Now, they couldn't put money or people on the ground because they had to concentrate on the states that we knew to be swing states. They did the right thing. They had to do what they needed to do. I said, Mr. President, I'm out there. I have a gut. We can really do something here. Our first thing we did is we had this rally in Wildwood, which isn't my district, as a matter of fact. We had 102,000 people at least. You could feel the energy. Something was really going on. And we worked throughout the state to try to get the vote out early with some good people that helped us. And this was with no money and nobody on the ground. But we had a plan. And damn it, we got within 5 points. The truth is, probably if we had money and people on the ground, we could have won this damn thing. But I get why you couldn't do that. You really had to go with the known entities of the swing states and what polling was showing. But you can feel it out there. New Jersey is an amazing state, has so much potential. They make fun. You talked about Governor Murphy. They call it people who are just disgusted with what he and others have done to this state, the People's Republic of New Jersey. It doesn't have to be that way. A lot of hardworking people, a lot of good people. Not everybody are people that recently came from Manhattan, are wealthy bourgeois people that just always believe in this Democratic mantra. We've got lots of real people who break their back and work hard every single day. And I believe we can do something in New Jersey. So I look forward to that. Scott's help, I certainly will help. I worked hard over this presidential, and I think the numbers show what can be done, and I just pray and hope it can be done. We want to win this next gubernatorial because we got to do better than we're doing in New Jersey. So much potential.
Yes, that's right. We look forward to you joining with Scott Pressler and flipping that state. I mean, you flip New Jersey, Democrats have a really tough path to get to 270. You start carving up that eastern seaboard, and you start with New Jersey. Man, it's like the math becomes very difficult.
We are not New Jersey, a little California. We're a different state.
Yes. In closing here, I did have to get your commentary, Congressman, with a very important bit of evidence, direct evidence, we think, physical evidence of where and what may be causing the drones over your state. We have it here for you to see. I'm not sure if you can see. And this is what the president posted. Donald Trump does get the president's daily brief. He does get national intel security briefing. And so he does have a lot of information that we don't have. And so maybe your comment on this, I'm not sure, seems like a pretty crisp photo. Yeah, I'm not sure if you took it, maybe it's that you may have leaked this to President Trump. You can tell us now. Live on the program.
It was not me, but I think maybe it explains why there were so many drones and why there's such large drones. And I'll leave it at that.
The McRib is back. It's like,
what can I tell you? These pictures will never end. All the memes, there's still more. I saw one the other day with him up on a drone doing something in his beach chair. I think riding a drone. It will never end. But just briefly, look, I wish nobody ill will, but I was a state senator while he was the governor, and I was a Democrat. I was always a conservative. Weirdly enough, there used to be conservative Democrats. They are gone. There is no such thing anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. But I was a conservative Democrat state senator in the state of New Jersey, and I worked with him. He did some good things as a governor, and I just don't. Again, you know what a lesson of this, the big lesson. Don't let your personal animosity and your personal feelings get in the way with your service to the people of the United States of America or your state. And I think the governor has gone astray. I just do. And hopefully he'll get back on track, but it's been disappointing.
Yes. Our team is very quick on this program. We are built for the internet. And we did have that meme. You did mention
Boy, that
it.
is quick. See, yeah, hey, so you know I don't make stuff up, right?
You mentioned it, Congress. That's exactly right. You mentioned it,
You
Congress.
gotta love it, though.
I'm not. Is it like I'm not sure. If this is. I mean, is Chris Christie working with Iran? To be part of.
He says not.
Trump?
He was on Stephanopoulos the other day and criticizing me for saying anything about it, but. Nevertheless,
I personally think it's our government. I personally think it's our government flying these things. But it could very well be Chris Christie's McDonald's orders.
Well, and again, just to reiterate, and I'm sorry to go back to it, but if it is our government, they are lying to us. There's no need for them to do that. If it is not our government, they are profoundly stupid because they should absolutely been taking them down. You don't have to shoot them down. You can do it in a safe way. There's multiple ways. They should be taking them down and discover who it is. But to just see what it is, though, it's a profound disrespect for American people.
Just for your digital comms staffer, if the next interview we do, you want to hang the memes behind you in the chair, I think it'd be fitting, given the subject matter. Thank you,
I will let her know.
Thank you, Congressman, for being such a great sport. Obviously, this is a time. You either get a chance to yell and scream. You get done yelling and screaming about it. Sometimes you just gotta make fun of it because it's so absurd, and we're so excited for January 20. And watching you up there with President Trump, I know you two are strong allies, and you've been such a great defender of the president. Godspeed, and Merry Christmas, Congressman.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and all the people who watch you, and let's bring in a golden age next year to the United States of America.
Boom, boom.
Right back at you.
Ooh, baby. How you find these drones? Well, they fly at night. They should go blackout mode, but the government wants us to know that they're there. So what is it exactly? Why the government wants you to see the drones. The government's flying the drones. I don't agree that it's a foreign power. I don't want them to try and run some psyop. I could see it, some psyop. Wow, we got to attack Iran now. But you know what? I got to tell you, I don't get the intel briefings. There is going to be a briefing on Capitol Hill about these things today. So we'll see. We're going to check in who was in that briefing. We'll book them on the program, ladies and gentlemen. Blackout! We went blackout. The drones didn't. We went blackout. Blackout coffee, of course. Ting-a-ling-a-lings inside of my cup here. It's back to being nice and, I don't know, was it warm in Tampa? It's 80 degrees, which is considered actually quite freezing in Tampa. But anyway, I'm back with my iced coffee here and the Benny mug. Ladies and gentlemen, blackout coffee is what sits in my coffee mug. It is 100% American, 0% craft. Blackout coffee is in my cup every morning, giving me, empowering me with all the caffeine. No nicotine. Everyone's in on nicotine pouches these days. No nicotine for me. Straight caffeine. Straight into my bloodstream. Ladies and gentlemen, and we're staying up all night, staring at the sky, seeing if there's any drones over my house. Right, sitting there looking around. It's the end of Goodfellas, right? At the end, at Danny or whatever. At the end of Goodfellas, staring at the sky. It's me. It's me. Blackout coffee helps me power through. Ladies and gentlemen, I spent all night looking for the drones over my house. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Use the coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. blackoutcoffee.com/Benny today. Be awake, not woke. We got that. Is his name Danny? Is his name Dan? Well, that's the main character in Goodfellas. It's New Jersey. He's driving around. It's all paranoid. Got a government helicopter following him. That's what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some more interesting news for you. This was a moment that was just absolutely delightful today. We talked about it with Lara Trump. Donald Trump trolling Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau on Truth Social. Trump trolls Trudeau after Canadian finance minister resigns. Great state of Canada is stunned. I don't feel bad for Justin Trudeau. He can always retire. Back in daddy's homeland, right? There's already a nation in the Western Hemisphere that's communist. He can go back to Cuba. Go back to Cuba, where you're wanted. Till then, resign. He's about to resign, hopefully. in Canada. We have a lot of viewers in Canada, and so we want to tell you that we support you. We freaking love you. We're going to be focused here on this country and saving this country. Obviously, first, you can't do that when you have fake news, fake polls. Donald Trump sues Des Moines Register, top pollster, for brazen election interference fraud over Kamala Harris' poll. We're so happy to have called out the PSYOPs well ahead of time, like CNN freeing a Syrian prisoner, turned out to be a mass murdering terrorist, right? CNN freed a terrorist. Got it. Good job. Who's clearly staged there in a prison. It's like amazing. That's happening right now. CNN admitted it yesterday. So CNN admits their fake news. It's a great timeline. Now, there's a poll that came out from the Des Moines Register. And the Des Moines Register poll on the eve of the election said Kamala Harris was up 3 in Iowa. That was, and I'm from Iowa, so let me say this in Iowa terms, hog shit. That was a fake poll. This was a poll that allegedly was paid for by Democrat activists, secretly and behind the scenes. It was a poll that was designed to rig the election for President Trump. There it is. Yeah, sure. Shock poll has Harris leading Trump in Iowa with 3-point shift towards vice president in red state. See how they cover this? This was the point. The point of this is called a suppression poll. It was published on November 2nd, the eve of the election, the weekend before the election. And guess what? All these little Democrats had their little Butterfinger fingers all over it, like J.B. Pritzker. Democrats were passing it around because they knew they were just like, this is like their new op. This is their new hoax they're going to drop on Donald Trump. The hoax was supposed to say that, look, even in this red state, Donald Trump's losing. Donald Trump's going to lose the election. Better not to even show up, right? And to say to Kamala supporters, look, we are about to have victory. Better show up even harder. We're this close to victory. That's how this worked. Of course, it didn't work. We booked every pollster we knew to come on our show and just blow this thing freaking out of the water with Hiroshima bombs. But now Donald Trump's the one nuking. The pollster, by filing a lawsuit, President Donald Trump is suing the Des Moines Register, and his top pollster, J. Ann Seltzer, this poll was so bad, by the way, that J. Ann Seltzer quit. She quit her job. She knows what was coming. For brazen election interference or fraud of the 2024 presidential poll showing Kamala Harris leading him from Iowa despite the ultimate victory, Donald Trump won Iowa by more than 13 percentage points, so the poll was only off by about 20 points. So how exactly do you get a 20-point off poll? Like, how would you do this? If this were your financial advisor and you'd invested and you get to retirement and they're like, we have no more money for you. You'd sue them, right? You'd sue them for fraud. This is what Donald Trump is doing. The lawsuit was filed on Monday night in Polk County, Iowa, under the Iowa Consumer Fraud Act and relative provisions. It says it seeks accountability for brazen election interference committed by the Des Moines Register and Ann Seltzer in favor of the now defeated former Democrat candidate Kamala Harris, leaked and manipulated Des Moines Register Mediacom Iowa poll conducted by Seltzer and published by the Des Moines Register. These are big companies, by the way. Gannett is a massive publisher. Mediacom is a massive company. These are massive companies that could really see sizable damages. Donald Trump, of course, on the heels of suing ABC News and winning $15 million. I think it was Jack Posobiec this morning who said that Donald Trump should have a wing called the Stephanopoulos wing in his presidential library in honor of all the fake news that was ever printed about him. That would be very fitting since ABC News is actually funding his presidential library. How glorious is that? The lawsuit is also against the parent company of the Des Moines Register, Gannett, which owns other publications, including USA Today. It's a massive, massive company. Contrary to reality and defying credibility, defendants Harris poll published 3 days before the election purported to show Kamala Harris leading Trump in Iowa by 3 points. President Trump ultimately won Iowa by 13 points, the lawsuit states. Seltzer released her final Des Moines Register-sponsored poll of Iowa just 3 days before the election, showing Vice President Kamala Harris leading Trump by 3 points. The shock poll showed a 7-point shift from Trump to Harris in September. It was all fake. Seltzer's poll had been hyped up by media ahead of the elections, and predictions of previous elections had been historically accurate. So they used Ann Seltzer, they used her credibility, and they just straight atomized it. Can you imagine giving up all your credibility in your career for Kamala Harris? That is the single saddest outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't done a Salt That Lib in a hot minute. Sad, very sad for us. So we got our salt right here. Get your salt out in this comment section. Let's salt Jake Tapper, the saltiest of salty CNN anchors, on fake news CNN, now provably fake news CNN, that frees Syrian terrorists from jail and then canonizes them right on their airwaves. It's so funny. So freaking hilarious. What a timeline. Jake Tapper, who's always on the verge of tears. He sounds like he's always this close to breaking down. Low T, Jake Tapper, cries, let's salt him with extra salt to help his sodium levels restore back up from his tears.
And we should note, Kristen, I don't want to overstate Trump's friendliness and genial attitude at this press conference, because this weekend ABC News agreed to pay $16 million, including legal fees, to settle a defamation lawsuit brought by Trump against the network and their anchor, George Stephanopoulos. And that obviously will not be the end of this campaign against the media, a legal campaign against the media. We heard him go after many other news outlets today. Take a listen.
Well, I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper. We're filing one on 60 Minutes. We're involved in one which has been going on for a while and very successfully against Bob Woodward. We have one, very interestingly, on Pulitzer, because reporters at the New York Times, Washington Post got Pulitzer Prizes for their wonderful, accurate, and highly professional reporting on the Russia hoax.
We don't have time to go into all of that, but just to touch base on a couple. There's one of them is the people of Iowa, the Des Moines Register. That's because there was a poll that was inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
The one on 60 Minutes is because they didn't like the editing that had been done to the Kamala Harris.
From Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean, this is wildly ridiculous.
Well, one of the things to keep in mind here is that Donald Trump feels like he won. I mean, this weekend, by having a settlement with ABC, one that many people did not think was going to come to fruition. They thought that this would end up in court, or that it would certainly not be a settlement in which ABC paid $16 million and issued a public apology, which was part of this, has been a situation which has empowered and emboldened Donald Trump.
Oh, wow. It's empowered and emboldened Donald Trump that you can't knowingly use the public airwaves to lie about him and say that he's committed rape. This is what ABC News did. The gasping over the inability to openly accuse Donald Trump of some of the most heinous crimes imaginable, of which he's been exonerated legally. Oh, the horror. Yes. Oh, wow. So, the very, very salty Jake Tapper, very upset that they can't lie with impunity now, or they will get punitive damages. And Donald Trump's going to be suing a lot of people, and rightfully should. This is how you set the record. Consequences. Every parent knows you get a consequence. Okay, don't do that. Don't have a screaming fit meltdown. Throw your food on the floor. There's going to be a consequence. And it's very good to see that, like, table reset. Just the lawsuits themselves, it's amazing. The lawsuits themselves have this great chilling effect. And the winning of those lawsuits and those settlements have this, like, incredible effect where they pull back. You pull back. These companies can't afford it. These companies are dying. We're winning. They're dying. And they pull back. And they're going to do things honestly. And also, there's competition now. Elon Musk is that competition. Breaking. Right now, we do have a news show, so why not? Breaking right now, a photo of Elon Musk meeting Nigel Farage and the future UK Prime Minister at Mar-a-Lago. We know it's at Mar-a-Lago because we just had dinner under that glorious painting of Donald Trump there in the Gordon Gekko fit. It's a great little room there. There's a little whiskey room at Mar-a-Lago. Elon Musk is doing meetings with the British Reform Party. Ladies and gentlemen, this is awesome. Alex, what is the name of the gentleman to Elon Musk's left there? What is his name? This is future Prime Minister. We're gonna make sure that we do a shout out here. And Nigel has been on the program before. Maybe we book Nigel, talk about this meeting. This is going to be interesting. Is Elon Musk going to play in England? The world's richest man, probably going to be the world's first trillionaire. Is he going to go save merry old England? It's going to be interesting. What a world, man. We're going to export America First and MAGA to the entire world like candy. Nick Candy is his name. Nick Candy is his name. He's the treasurer of the Reform Party in the UK. And it looks like Elon Musk is, well, throwing a little cursory support for that. So Elon Musk sees more land to conquer. Amazing. Wouldn't it be? America fought for its independence from Great Britain, and now Americans can go and free Great Britain from their own tyranny. Americans can rush to the shores of merry old England and reform that place. What a powerful experiment, ladies and gentlemen, and what a truly divine moment that we live in. Providence, manifest destiny. It's things that we certainly believe in on this show. It'll be live on stage very soon. This week, in fact, at America Fest, Turning Point USA America Fest. We're going to be speaking at it. Look at that. Holy moly. Look at that freaking lineup. Wow. Incredible. Dudes with beards that I don't have. Byron Donalds got a beard. Matt Walsh's got a beard. Donald Trump Jr.'s got a beard. Posobic's got a beard. Ted Cruz has got a beard. You don't want me to grow a beard. I don't look good in beards. Antonio Brown's going to be there. UFC fighters. Freaking legend. You can stream it at Turning Point's YouTube channel. You can also attend yourself. Register with the code Benny for 25% off your tickets. Register with the code Benny, ladies and gentlemen, at amfest.com. Amfest.com to hear all these incredible voices, and also to see Tim Pool's mugshot, which is what I think that is. This is what Tim and I were hanging out this weekend, and he was like, "Why are they using this photo of me?" He says it's like an 11-year-old photo, but he kind of looks the same actually. So I don't know what the beef is. I don't understand. I don't know what the beef is. But it is a funny photo. Tim, get headshots. Tim, get headshots! Quick! I can set you up. I got a good person. She's Melania's photographer. She's great. Her name's Andrea Hanks. She'll be there. It's going to be an awesome weekend, and we look forward to our speech on Friday, and then also to covering the weekend and bringing you with us, and it's going to be a really fun time. Ladies and gentlemen, manifest destiny, providence, what built this great country, and it's why we do our verse of the day, because we want to remember why we are here and why we continue to fight. Our verse of the day, ladies and gentlemen, from Proverbs. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Loyalty, kindness. Be sure that in this Christmas season, you are building bridges, you are establishing new relationships, and that we use 2025 as a glorious year of our Lord to make and remake, quite frankly, this country. We believe it's the Great Reformation. We believe that we are currently living through a renaissance of sorts for liberty and freedom. You can, of course, capture it forever with your Benny ornament, still available at the Benny shop. The most popular ornament in American history. Tomorrow, we have so many wonderful, beautiful photos that you have sent in. We are going to play them all. We're going to play all the. We're going to put up the ornament photos. We are sorry that our show, like I have to get to an ultrasound, okay, for my new baby. So we're sorry that we cannot do them on this program. We're going to play. You send them in, BennyJohnson.com. We've been playing them on the show. We've played at least hundreds on the program. We'll show your Christmas tree on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, who's our stocking going to today? Let's check. Let's go ahead and look. Who is the stocking going to today? Let's go. Oh, yeah, we got a winner. We got a winner. Wow, we've got a couple winners. Goodness gracious. Yeah. It's got to be James Justice. James Justice sent $111. I'm ready for Trump's golden age. Well, James Justice, you won the Super Chat Battle of the Day. James Justice, you prepare thyself for Trump's golden age, and also your name, golden, on a stocking right behind us. And since we don't have enough, we have more stockings than we have days left in the year to Christmas, let's do one more, ladies and gentlemen. Winning by a single penny is Lady Trucker. Lady Trucker. Merry Christmas, Benny Brigade and Benny Johnson and team. Benny, will you please bring President Trump and Melania before Christmas Day? Will you please bring on President Trump and Melania before Christmas Day? I'd love to. You think Trump would be willing to do a live interview on your show? That would be awesome. We tried really hard during the election. We were this close. And then there was something that happened. Trump got shot in the head. And that changed everything. And a lot of stuff got put on hold. A lot of things that were planned got put on hold. And we had to travel to the DNC convention, and we worked so hard to get that interview across the finish line, but it couldn't line up. And so we're going to be locked in and ready to go, obviously, for the administration. And stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned. But Lady Trucker, you're right. Melania and Donald Trump are welcome on the stream literally anytime. And thank you. You will get yourself a golden 12 days of Christmas. But we don't have 12 days till Christmas. How many days till Christmas? Not 9? 8? 8 days till Christmas? Okay. So got the stockings for that, and we got love for you in the chat. And we say thank you for making this the single fastest growing news and streaming show in the world. It's your boy Benny. Merry Christmas.
A little more to the right. Okay, more.
The entire neighborhood was turned on.
Oh, you should see what it looks like from out here.
This turkey tastes half as good as it looks. I think we're all in for a very big treat.
Save the neck for me, Clark.
Okay, Eddie.
We're putting you on a nuclear sub.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Whatever.
Nuclear.
You learn something new every day.
Got it!
Christmas tree. Saw your smile too late to stay. Far it seems together in electric dream.
Like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade with the warrior's heart. This man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny shows a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade with the warrior's heart. This man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny shows the storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.